Hey Hot Garbage Squad, yep, it's Foxy, but no webcam today. We are going to do an RTA rune showcase for Season 13, and I didn't want my webcam blocking anything. So Season 13 RTA just ended, and here's my rank. I ended rank 262 with a 64.1 win ratio, which is my highest ever, but not my highest rank. As you can see, in Season 12, my highest rank was 155, and it was a shorter season, so it favored me a lot more. Anyways, let's get into this video, and obviously, you won't be seeing my attack bar boosters for competitive reasons. So many people have requested the speeds of my attack bar boosters, but this is why I won't show it. My first reason is because as a cleaver, first turn matters most. Second of all, as a YouTuber and streamer, there are a lot of disrespectful people out there in the community who have no competitive integrity and will spam someone's speed when facing another streamer or YouTuber. So these are my biggest two reasons why I won't bother showing my Bastet or Draco, and this is why you can't have nice things. So I will show you my primary Cleave team, starting from the top to bottom, and then moving on to the more flex type units, and we'll go from there. I'll show you the stats, and I'll show you the rune set and each rune as well while I'm explaining to you. So this is my Julie, plus 134 speed, speed tuned to 1 attack bar buffer. You will see there's almost no wasted stats here. If I were to make this better, it would have at least 200 more attack. If you saw Massa use Julie, that is my goal. So here are the runes. Swift Blade. You will notice if you paused in some of these runes, not all of these are actually legend quality. For example, this is like a max purple. This one, for example, is legend, but it rolled flat, therefore it is a purple rune in my book. So this definitely could have upgrades, but I need some perfect rolls here. My second monster, Samoth. Samoth is 143 speed. It is super fast, but it does a lot of damage, as you can see from the crit damage, 186. It is on Swift Blade with speed, crit damage, attack. And the reason why I didn't put it on Despair is because Samoth's second skill, Overwhelm, already does so little damage, and when I put it on Despair, it will do even less. He does way less damage than Shimate, and I had to put it on Swift to make it do more damage and get more stats. So that's how I would put the Samoth. You don't need Will, because if you take first turn, why do you need Will? This is not Arena, and that is my reasoning. Third monster here, I guess we'll move to the fire monsters. This is my Raki. I think it did change a little bit since last season because I made it on Swift instead of Fatal, I believe, and we put a lot more damage into her. So you will see right now, she is full DPS. There's a little bit of tankiness, as you can see, with the HP at 10,000 and defense at 200, but I changed it. Instead of making it more defense and HP, I focused on just pure raw damage because I noticed Diana's and Triana's were getting a lot more thick, and I wanted the extra oomph to kill them through third skill and second skill. So if I get 2 more crit rate, fantastic, but not in the world because I will always crit on wind. 85 is minimum for most people, but I always like to be as close to 100 for consistency. So this is my Raki. The Garo here. So the Garo, everyone always asks me about the Garo, and it was in my previous video, but I think my Garo got a little bit better from last season because just yesterday I got an upgrade, and I will show it to you. Anyways, as you can see, the HP and defense are relatively high because when you use Garo, he tends to scale into the late game very often because he's your solo 1v5 monster. If you noticed, his defense is super high. Like I said, when you scale down, HP means less and defense means more. And this is the rune I was talking about that got the upgrade. 14 gem. I just need a legend grind to make this like a 24 and we are Gucci. Anyways, Vampire Nemesis. I know that you guys, if you watch a lot of the cleavers that I follow, you will notice that they actually put their Garo to go after their Lucien. So this goes Lucien and then Garo or Shimate. But for me, I just think my runes are really fast on speed slot 2 and this one, and that is why I have this running before. Okay, my next monster, Kali. So Kali is one of those monsters that must be on Will. This is on Rage Will. The reason why it's on Rage Will is because Rage tends to give you a little bit more damage than Fatal. Also, you will notice that it is at 143 speed. Super, super fast. If you watched any of my RTA videos, Kali acts as two purposes. He is a first turn snipe unit, or he is an attack buffer with right here, God of Fire. He has two purposes and you can use him in different drafts. Very, very flexible. I still have my Daphnis runed, Vaunt Will, but you haven't seen him being used in the season RTA at all. Nothing at all. We have finally the Lucien, 136 speed. Goes first on my team before my Julie here, as you can see. It's on Swift Blade. I managed to get an upgrade because of this gem right here. Before it was a 7, and we managed to get a 2 upgrade to make it 100. It was a 98 before, if you guys remember. Also, this rune was very, very stubborn and wouldn't roll a 9. I tried 2 times and didn't get an upgrade, so we definitely could improve this. It's not that amazing. I'm just like satisfied, content, but not super, super happy with this one. And then we have the Shimite. 134 speed, some accuracy, just because for Airbender, it absorbs and strips, right? So that's why I have a little bit of accuracy, but not my main focus here. 134 speed, no wasted stats on defense, pure raw damage on Swift Blade, okay? Here it is. Like, for example, this rune is legend, but it rolled HP here. So essentially it is a purple rune. Same here. This is a legend rune, but we've got a roll on HP, and therefore it's kind of a purple rune in my book for pure DPS. Anyways, still very good. So those are my core Cleave units, and we're gonna move on to some of the flex units, like what happens when they take my Bastet, and then what do I do, or what are some other Cleave monsters that you can draft. So Leica, I tried to play around with Violent Blade Leica. I put it on, oh, what is this? I put it on a blade set because I just didn't have the rune quality on Nemesis. If it was on Nemesis, it'd be better, but I don't have the rune quality for it. And what I've come to realize is Leica is just a worse version of Garo, and I tend to lose a lot with it. And whenever I watch replays of Masayu, he also tends to lose with the Leica. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna de-rune this because he just doesn't offer enough in RTA. Why pick Leica when you can pick Miho? Miho is just a better version in my opinion. Like, honestly, I just think this is a better version. And this is on Vampire Nemesis. You will notice it's kind of tanky because I got a few runes that give me a ton of HP. And the reason why people have moved to a more tanky Miho is because of this unit. If you're able to just use Soul Crusher and finish off the Miho, it kind of makes this unit a dead pig. So that's why people tend to put a little bit more HP on it and favor that type of build a little bit more. I've seen people like Cabrera who run 100 resistance on their Miho, but I just don't have the runes to try that. Anyways, we'll move on to the Sierra. You would have seen Sierra in my Cleave picks where I don't pick double attack bar boosters, and I pick a speed lead and Bastet, for example, and no Draco. So you will see that it's super beefy with 600 defense and 21k attack, HP. On Von Will, Sierra is one of those units that require literally every stat in the game, almost literally every stat in the game to make it really good. She doesn't have that much accuracy, and she doesn't have much crit rate. I honestly would probably sacrifice some tankiness to get more crit rate, and maybe not more accuracy, because if I run a crit rate Sierra, I'm taking multiple turns and dropping multiple bombs. So accuracy is not a big issue, but I tend not to draft this unit here. But this is the build of my Sierra. Probably not the best one, and I should probably change it, in my opinion, to fit my team more better. Anyways, moving on. What happens when someone picks your Bastet Foxy? We have the Vanessa. Vanessa, you will see that she has tons of HP and tons of defense. She's not super beefy because I run a crit damage on Violent Rune, and this is primarily used and paired up with Triana as an anti-cleave. She needs to have damage because in an anti-cleave with Vanessa Triana, you're probably running a lot of supports and you need some damage, and this is the damage threat here. Triana. My Triana is super thick with a 1000 defense bonus and 35k or 34k, almost 35, not even 35, 34k HP bonus. I'd be very impressed that if any Lucien can nuke through this. So it's on Nemesis because of Daphnis, and when people cleave you, you don't really need will runes because they're not going to draft a Zyros. The Garo may stun you, but if it stuns you, I mean, you got this much HP. So that's the reasoning behind this Triana build. I opted for no resistance and just pure HP builds across the board here. Okay. And then we have the Terrace. Terrace is also typically paired up in an anti-cleave. And you will see my Terrace actually doesn't have a lot of HP. So I do not pick it quite often with Vanessa Triana because Lucien will go right through it and trigger the Triana passive because of the lack of HP here. But you will notice he is really beefy on Violent Will. Tons of crit damage, really beefy. Abellio. So Abellio is one of those units that I will draft with Vanessa Triana because Triana's passive will most likely trigger because of this guy right here, or he will trigger because of Vanessa gets low or another unit in the team gets low. He doesn't have that much crit rate or crit damage because I opted for more beefiness on the HP and a little bit on the defense to do damage here. He's on Violent Will. Really important that your druids are on crit damage because they scale on defense, and by the time you get into late game, your crit damage build on high defense right here will do a lot of damage. So this is how I built my Abellio. It doesn't need to be fast if you're using for anti-cleave. However, I pair it up. You might have seen me use Velajewel and double druids, and this is my Velajewel. Violent Will. You will notice that he's on one of my... Oh, what is this? Oh my god, this is so shameful. So anyways, you will notice that he's on a really fast set here. And the reason why he's on a really fast set is because I really draft him when I think I lost the first turn and I need, like, for example, Gania Thor and there's a bunch of CC on his team. If he's on Violent and he just Violence once, you can turn the whole playing field, and this is why I don't put it on Swift. Also, it's on crit damage because very similar to Vanessa, you need a Fire Bruiser and a Threat here. And they also buffed Punishment to make it a 2-turn cooldown. It doesn't, do not underestimate Punishment. It does tons and tons of damage, okay? Then we have the Oki. You guys already know my feeling about Oki here. He is hot garbage. I don't really draft him. I tend to stay away from him. Yes, I have the 85 accuracy minimum check, and he never does anything, okay? And then we have the Verd. The Verd is on Violent Revenge. You will only really see me draft this when they pick a Leo, and I can abuse it with massive turn cycling. Overall, I really don't pick the Verd. It's a very rare pick. The next two picks I will show you is pretty essential in the anti-cleave. So you will have seen that I use my Molong quite often in anti-cleave. Reason being is because primarily Molong has the 30% HP leader, and he has multi-hits on skill 1 and 2 for the Garo pick. So a very good pick, pretty beefy, and has high defense for late game potential. Next one is Juno. So Juno is on Despair Nemesis. Again, Nemesis because if the Lucien amps or the Julie goes, I have potential to cut in. I'm not on crit rate slot 4, but I do advise you to have a really high crit rate so you can turn cycle with passing time, very similar to Sierra. It's not just about the strip here, it's also about turn cycling and doing damage with high crit rate. So this is the Juno build. And you're probably wondering about this nasty Terrace unit here. You would have seen me draft Terrace and Diana when I'm just trolling and I'm just looking to have fun, because you already know these are just RNG units and they don't really fit my team, and I tend not to cop out with these type of picks here, but here's the build here. And this is the Diana. I think my Diana's a little bit on the faster side, and instead I should probably make it have like 4,000 more HP instead, or at least minimum 2,000 more HP, but She's also pretty good into anti-cleave. Reason being is because you can bait out a lot of water picks and then you draft in the Diana. And then with the AoE and cleave, you can cut in with that unit. And then I think I've gone through most of my monsters here. I have Aegir and Shiho, but honestly, I don't really pick them. And I'm probably going to de-rune them, to be quite frank with you. And then I have the Avarice. Very rarely will I draft my Avarice. He's on B grade runes. If they run like a super revival team like Samoth Vanessa, I'd probably pull this out. However, for you guys who have the Wind Demon, this pick is obsolete. So if I had a Wind Demon, this unit wouldn't even be showcased here. So I think I've gone through all of my monsters here that I actually use. And I think we'll leave it at that. If you guys enjoy this, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe.